actually was attracted to her through a Facebook ad. Um, she was talking about feeling like a fraud as a business owner, and I think it's become a blog of hers. Um, but she described what I was going through like on point. And I just felt very alone at the time. I didn't have a lot of like women business owner friends. I don't feel like there were as many women business owners, like small business owners at the time, or I wasn't connected to them. And the way that she described everything, the way that she was so authentic and didn't mind, like, laughing at her mistakes or whatever, I really connected with that. So I had I was in the middle of having just canceled my wedding with my now husband, but we had a break. Um, and I was feeling very alone. Um, I still had my business, but it was in a lot of debt. So my massage business, I had employees. My team was very selfish. They weren't a good match for me. We weren't aligned. Um, People would leave and steal clients. Um, there was just a lot of stress around money, a lot of fear. I never wanted to look at my bank accounts because I was afraid. I was doubting myself, anyways, at that time. I thought, in fact, I didn't sign up right away. Like, I saw her blog post and I think I like checked out her website. I probably had started reading her book and liked that, but I had not pressed go on the Money Bootcamp. And what cinched the deal for me was she was sending out emails, but also she sent out this email that like 638 people had joined boot camp, and the doors were closing, and this is the last time you could get it at this price, and then it was doubling. And I was like, wow, 630, she got 638 people to sign up for this online course. I'm like, I want to know more about how she did this, how it works. And I just really liked her personality, so I went for it. I think one of my first feelings was, so the work that I do, myofascial release, there's a physical component, but there's a mental component too, about resetting healthy belief systems for yourself. And then I was doing this whole learning how to love myself thing at the same time. And so, learning better ways to be. And it was such a novel idea to me to apply this to money. And yet I was like, of course, this only makes sense. And yet I was like, oh, you can apply this to money. Like, I don't think I realized how deep little stories and belief systems are about money that you just kind of set up in your life. When I first signed up and I got into the group and I was listening to other people, I realized, wow, I'm not alone, number one. Number two, I can actually do something about this. And number three, how cool it is that we're all doing this together and that Denise is literally changing women's lives by doing this work. It's such a beautiful mission. It's so empowering for women. I would say wealth of knowledge, um, and a group of women who are just top notch. There's all kinds of people in there, all kinds of women at different levels, which I like, and very supportive. So people post about some pretty deep stuff, some pretty personal things, because when you start digging into your money belief systems, it gets personal. And when you start changing things, life around you changes too. And sometimes you kind of have a crisis moment before you get to your new life, right? And so just to see women supporting each other while you're going through transformation, I think that's something that's very special about this group. I don't feel like anybody feels lost, even though the group is pretty big. And um, I've felt in other Facebook groups lost. So that's unique, I feel like. So my business does not have any debt anymore. I have an amazing team that supports me. Um, One of the big issues before was feeling safe around money and wanting to feel safe and not worrying about running payroll. And I'm there. The payroll goes through. I don't even have to worry about it anymore. Um, I have people, every single person on my staff like wants to support my mission, wants to support my brand. There's no person that's kind of paddling in the opposite direction, if that makes sense. Um, I actually made last year $1 million. So my business, yeah, made $1 million in revenue, which was kind of this happenstance discovery at the end of the year through working with another one of the Money Bootcamp people in one of her self-love classes. But yeah, I was like, oh my God, I made $1 million. I did it. As you change your own energy, right? The people around you change. And part of it was about me learning to trust. The other part of it was boundaries and the people I was going to accept into my office. Um, and then surrender. And one of the biggest, awesomest things I did was surrender. I had a manager. I didn't have any of these things when I started. I was doing everything myself. I needed to control it, / didn't feel like I could spend the money on it, right? And then as I move forward, I realized I need to spend this money on support staff. And I took the risk and did it. But then I forgot to actually hand them the reins and let them run the show. So I was still doing a lot of stuff and they were helping, but they were coming to me a lot with like decisions and stuff. And finally, at one point, I was like, I just let go and let them run it. They know enough and I need to trust. And if they don't, I'll be in the background in case there's a big problem. But otherwise, I hired them for a reason and I need to see that it works. And once I just let go, this beautiful thing started to happen where, like, this organic culture developed within my studio that was not from me, was created because I allowed them to create it. And it's something that's way better than I could have ever come up with on my own. And they just know what to do. They just know what to do. And everybody meshes well. And all I had to do was let go and relax and trust. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I was working way too much, totally burnt out. 12 hours, sometimes 14 hours a day. Oh my God, it was exhausting. Um, but now I have a little baby and I don't even do any of the day-to-day operations. I help with the vision, the high level stuff. So what direction are we going to go in terms of recruiting? What direction are we going in terms of marketing? Just kind of the higher level things. Or if there's really a big issue that they need to pull me in on. Otherwise, sometimes employees come to me with a question. I say, don't ask me, go ask the manager because I'll mess it up. And I get to spend time with my baby. And I treat people still. But it's on my time. So in the morning, I have the time to go to the gym, and then I come home and I get to spend time with the baby, and I do some treating if I want to. It's flexible. I pick my hours. I don't have to do things anymore because it's not my work that supports the business anymore. And I got to a point where, I was able to step away from treating last year. I did do a little bit, but it was very minimal because I was writing my book. So I was able to just do this passion project of mine and have the funds to support getting it out there. And so if you had told me when I started my other business and was like so in debt that I would be at this stage to be able to be doing that, to send my message out into the world, I don't know if I would have believed you. Definitely the money memories work and the forgiveness work around that, um, huge. There were so many different memories that would come up. Like, for instance, I remember having an issue with saving money. And then at the time I was living with my mom and I found this like little coin piggy bank thing, right? But it was ceramic, and it was two little kids, like, I don't know, this thing must be from the 50s or something. Two little kids like under an umbrella, and underneath it says saving for a rainy day. And I realized that I didn't like saving because I didn't like rainy days. So if I didn't save, it would just be sunny. So it's just like little things like that that you don't even realize you're running your whole life on. So money memories definitely anchoring in things. Actually, this is kind of cool. Last year, I think I have it here. Yeah. Last year, at the beginning of the year, I printed out this check, Bank of the Universe, and I wrote it out, $1 million to myself. And then I showed it to my bookkeeper. He's very conservative. He believes in manifesting, but he's very conservative. He's like, "Oh, that's nice, Nicole." I'm like, "It's going to happen." And then it did. I was like, "Bank of the Universe, thank you very much. Cha-ching."
Yeah.
And then let's see. Upgrading. Upgrading was huge. Just like not accepting less than in terms of things, upgrading, whether that's upgrading my management team, right? So like kind of non-tangibles, upgrading my thoughts and feelings about what I was worth, to the tangible stuff. Like, you don't have to cut open the tube of like toothpaste to Q-tip out the last little pieces. You can throw it away and get a new one. Or even like if you don't like something, you can throw it out. You don't have to suffer through the whole thing. That fear of looking at the money. Um, yeah, the fear. Because, and really sitting down and making choices about what I needed to do to become profitable. And part of that was shifting how I was paying my employees and shifting kind of the whole structure of that, which I was scared to do, charging people more money, which I was scared to do. So fear. And just looking at the books and actually realizing, yes, this is a business and you can be ambitious and have dreams, but you also need to balance the dreams or the rate of growth that you want with how much actual cash you have. Because I started my business with no capital whatsoever. I think I had 10,000 in an IRA fund that I took out, and that was it. So sometimes when people start a business, they have nothing. Sometimes they have a decent amount of capital to work with. So, because the foundation is the money. From an energetic standpoint, you have a business. Why? You want to get your mission out there, but you're also trying to make money. And if you're blocking making money by these like ancient belief systems, whether they're from you, your family, and ancestors, random messages you get on a little piggy bank, right? If you don't fix that stuff, you can take as many marketing courses as you want to. You're still going to have trouble. I really like how she teaches because she's just so authentic. She's so like real. She's got such an awesome positive attitude. She is really kind to people, like very encouraging, celebratory. Um, I just really like the authentic way she runs things. And I love that she shares her process, because I feel like not only does that help with her authenticity, but it shows you that it works, you know? And I like when people are authentic. That's just kind of the person I am. So, well, the day that we were told to shut down, it felt like the week of my father's funeral. It was just like the same feeling. To have to shut down a business I had worked so hard for and have literally no idea how we were going to reopen, how we were going to pay the bills, how we were going to survive. And just the idea that I had no control over the fact that my business basically was a nothing, a big nothing in a matter of minutes. So emotionally speaking, that was traumatic. Then my brain got to work, and I feel like the timing of signing up for her Money Bootcamp and having already felt strong in that regard helped me to be able to go to a level of clarity and a level of trust in the universe that I never would have achieved without Money Bootcamp, without some of those kind of teachings that I had already had. So I feel like I had a really good foundation going into it. So, we closed the middle of March, and we have memberships in my business. So once a month, the client gets charged and then they get a session on their account. And I was already hearing that like gyms in our area were being sued because they were being charged, but then they weren't allowed to go in. And I was like, oh my God, I don't want to get sued, but we have also a different type of industry. And how could I spin this where clients will stay? Because if I could at least keep my members, I could keep the place open. I could keep it running. I could pay those bills until we came back in. So I just sent a letter and I said, we need help. And I don't know what your situation is like. And at the time, a lot of like corporate people were just working from home, and they were looking for a way to help people that weren't able to work from home. And so that's kind of a lot of our demographics. And so I sent an email and I said, look, if you keep your membership going right now, we'll extend how long you can use the sessions for. You could also choose to donate them. So I said that we would match each donation that they gave, and we were going to donate them all to healthcare workers. And otherwise, I said, please, no pressure. If you need to cancel your membership, we totally understand. But here are like your options. And I was very, very scared to send out that email because I really didn't know if that was a reasonable ask in such a unsure time. And then the answers started pouring in. Yes, I'd love to help. We donated over 500 60-minute gift cards to healthcare workers. And we lost 20% of our members. That was it, which is phenomenal. I mean, other massage places were losing 70%, 80%. So that was good. And so then I felt a little bit more comfortable. And then finally, that PPP monies started being offered. We applied, but that was like a whole nother procedure. But there was a lot of fear and a lot of people just spinning their wheels. And for me, I felt like Money Bootcamp helped me to just trust and know that I did as much as I could. I did the research. I didn't need to spin. I didn't need to freak out, and I would just figure it out as we went along. So that's what I did.
I did not know that you were able to donate so much to healthcare workers. That's an amazing way to pivot, and just really, really cool that you were able to help your team, but also a bunch of other people who, really overburdened during that time.
Yeah, they loved it. We were able to, like, a lot of our clients knew people in the healthcare field. So we literally just gathered those names and sent right back to those hospitals. And most of them were dealing with the COVID situation pretty heavily. So they were very grateful. Yeah, I think so. Um, when I started, kind of like, you know, I mean, books aren't even that expensive. And I was like, oh my God, someone's going to pay $15 to read this story of mine, you know? And I was like, yes, they are. It's a good story, you know? So definitely around like worth, because my story is, it's a personal one. It's a memoir slash self-help book, I guess. And so it's very vulnerable. It's my love life. It's pieces of me that, you know, my clients have never seen, friends have seen. But I felt very strongly about getting it out there to help other people understand what self-love looks like. Um, so yeah, and I think that there still needs to be some work around that. Like it's okay to get paid for this because I'm almost like, well, you know, as long as the message gets out there, that's okay. I don't have to get paid for it. Um, so yeah, I guess work in progress. I'll let you know how it goes. So I launched the Audible version of my book, which was great. So that was one of my visions for this year. And I want to create a workbook to go along with the book. So that's another one. I really, really, really want to focus on a dream house for my husband and I and my baby. Hopefully, maybe another baby. We'll see. And then I really want to delve more into this business mentorship that I started doing. So it was in the back of my mind that maybe I could do this, but because I was a fraud who didn't know what she was doing, that how could I tell what other people what to do? But over the past year, I think as I survived the pandemic, I've had business owners approach me and ask if I would mentor them. And so that was interesting, kind of, again, with the money beliefs, putting together like, well, I charge this amount of money to give a treatment. Can I charge that same amount of money to mentor someone in business? And I ended up setting it up that way, which was a stretch for me, you know, but people are signing up. So I really want to delve more into the business mentorship aspect of things. And yeah, I mean, obviously I'm biased because I signed up. However, I think you should sign up because even if you can't set aside like a dedicated amount of time to do it at the same time as everyone else, it's totally an evergreen course. Every single year, I learn something from the class. Every single year, there's sort of a live round. I learn something new. I go a little deeper. Money belief systems are spirals of healing. This is not like a one and done thing. And it's just constant up leveling, right? Constant renewing to a different level of deservedness, right? And so I would say to not be worried if you don't think you can get all the work done in the time allotted, to just dip in and out, do what feels comfortable. But that it's going to be worth it. Even just doing it that way, it's going to be worth it. Because that's what I did. I was not like, and I'm like a type A, like straight A student or whatever. And when I sign up for something, I like need to do it, but I just knew I didn't have the time or I wasn't comfortable with all of it at the time. So I just did what worked for me. And it still was helpful. I would say that number one win is the transformation of my brick and mortar business to be able to give me the free time to spend with my family. The fun win would be the $1 million in revenue. And then being able to launch my book. I would not have had the time to do that if I hadn't taken care of my belief systems to be able to walk away from my business to do a project like that. So we're sitting in like the retreat, and somehow I had joined, oh my God, my brain is so awful right now. I love her. Joanna Hunter. She had done like I think it was the $1 Million a Year program. And so I was in her self-love retreat, and I think it was in December or November. And she was talking about people who had hit $1 million. She's like, I already had this many people hit it. And she was like sharing how fun that was. And I was like, geez, maybe I hit it. Maybe I'm around 800 or something. I don't even know what I'm at, because life had been so busy. I was pregnant. So many things were happening. I hadn't looked. So while we're in the retreat, I'm kind of like on the side, like looking up my revenue, and it was $1 million. And I was like, oh my God. So I went back into the chat and I was like, I just looked up my revenue. I made $1 million. And she was like, oh my God, oh my God. So we did celebrate there. Like everybody had like this little glitter pom-pom. So yeah, it's just so funny. One thing that is huge in the massage industry is a lack of ability to receive, because we're givers. And so this huge imbalance there. So what I see a lot is giving people more time than what, like you get a 60-minute session, but you go over because you feel like what they're paying you for isn't worth it, kind of thing. Or charging too little money, or not charging at all. So yeah, in my niche of the massage healing world, receiving is a tough one. What are you waiting for? I mean, if you've gotten this far, that you're asking this level of questions, just give it a shot. What do you have to lose? We could refer back to the beginning when I talked about being a fraud. I am the same as you are. I am the same. The only difference is that I decided to buy Money Bootcamp and give it a chance. I'm not special or unique. I mean, we all are, right? But, you know, it's like, you deserve this. You deserve to change your money mindset. We have a responsibility, I mean, particularly as women, to step out of these ancient ideas and start empowering ourselves. We have such antiquated ideas about money because of this male female sort of imbalance, and it really needs to change.
If you're looking for expert training on money mindset, a supportive community, and mentoring to work on your money stories, I invite you to come work with us in Money Bootcamp. Our community is growing every day, and when empowered people come together and take control of our financial destiny, we really can change lives. Come and join us on this journey. Just click below, take a deep breath, and enroll in Money Bootcamp today. You'll get our amazing money mindset training, ongoing mentoring, and access to our beautiful, inspiring community. So then you can have the encouragement and accountability to make a breakthrough with your money. And you'll get support from all of our experienced mentors and live group coaching calls with me every single month. We will be with you every step of the way to help you create more abundance with less stress. So click below, take a deep breath, and just hit join on your registration. Make this investment in your dreams and get started now, so you can release your money blocks, increase your income, and surround yourself with amazing people invested in your success. I'll see you in Money Bootcamp. It's your time, and you're ready for the next step.